Hey, everybody. I did my author study on Joseph Bruchac. He was born on October 16th, 1942, in a town called Saratoga Springs, New York. He grew up in the foothills of the Adirondack Mountains, where I believe he created or was establishing that creativity that would soon delve into his life of authorship and creative writing. He began at a very young age and impressed a lot of people, specifically his teachers. Here's a picture of the Adirondack Mountains. Like I said, he does have two sons, Jesse and James, and he still lives in the home that his maternal grandparents have raised him in. His work right now is really just preserving Indian culture, Abenaki culture at that, which is specifically his family's. They're looking at language and skills and music that they try to share across the world, and a lot of times in schools. He, side note, was featured in Jonesboro, Tennessee at the National Storytelling Festival. His schooling, he's got several degrees, mostly around literature and creative writing. His first job was through Skidmore College, where he worked at a maximum security prison, teaching the inmates there. He's published over 120 books for adults and children. And again, through these books, he's working to share traditions and contemporary Native American culture to all ages. Some of the books that I came across as I was looking for a list, you see here Code Talker, Skeleton Man, Two Roads, and The Heart of a Chief. A lot of these were praised for being some of his best works. So that's why I'm sharing these specifically. His awards, again, quite a few. I'm not going to mention all of them, but I did put a star at the last one there. I thought was very, very exciting. I'm sure for him, was the Lifetime Achievement Award from the Native Writers Circle of the Americas. And that was in 1999. Again, quite a few there. Writer of the Year, Storyteller of the Year. So he's very good at what he does. When we look at why I would use his books in my classroom or library for self-selected reading, the themes, sustainability, friendships, respect, trust. Our schools here in East Tennessee, we're getting so many students from a different cultural background that if our students are being exposed to this, they could create a sense of empathy for them as they come in and don't know our language and our ways of life. So having those options in the classroom for them to be able to pick up and read would be fantastic. As for curricular uses, I did, like I said, Code Talkers, books like this, this one specifically where it's featuring World War II, if social studies teachers, which is what I do as well, would be a fantastic way to look at different cultures that were involved in World War II. And I'm not sure how many people actually realize that the Navajo Indians were used to help us win a lot of these battles overseas. So the book that I read, Code Talkers, my summary that I would share with my kids too, I'd open up with these questions. When you think of World War II, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Nazi Germany, Hitler, Pearl Harbor. We're going to see a lot of hands raised. But what about Navajo or Code Talkers? Are these things that they've heard of? Probably not. Our author, Joseph Bruchac, describes what life was like for the Navajo tribe before and after World War II. And so in this story, we follow a character, Ned Begay, who is also telling the story about his experience as a young boy when he was sent away at 6 years old to a boarding school and was pretty much told that he had to forget his way of life. He had to forget his language. He had to forget his culture. And 10 years later, after the attack on Pearl Harbor, the Marine Corps came to his school and they were looking for Navajo Marines or Navajo Indians to join the Marines to help them with an unbreakable code, hence the name Code Talkers. And so our story is just all of the experiences that Ned goes through as a code talker and how he helped the United States win these battles and these wars due to the secret code. And throughout the book, we go to different islands and the Solomon Islands, and some of the most gruesome battles during World War II, and how they were there to help in a lot of the defeats that we had. So I encourage you to check it out. If not, at least go research it. It's very fascinating. You'll also see that the Navajo Indians were not praised or recognized for their role in World War II until way after Vietnam and the Korean War, because they were still being used then at that time. So very, very cool information, and I think your kids would like it too. Thanks, guys, for listening.